I just thought I would make a offer toward my wife if she wanted to kind of come out and put some things out. I'm always usually one putting them out. I don't know. Again, I came out and I told my side of what I could see from my point of view on some things and some areas where uh, you know uh, couldn't be detected, you know, by my wife or whatever, and she just admitted to me earlier, and everything that what I had spoke of earlier, she said, well, there, everything was cool up there, you know, and said she told that person, said, hey, uh, it'd be good, behave. I'm guessing she knew she was on that medicine, so on some of that stuff. I don't know. Maybe it made her go cuckoo. I don't know. Maybe that stuff. Like I said, that's why you see my wife. When I met her, I can tell you this much: she was on that stuff. And the only thing I know is it wasn't. All it really does is just a sleeping pill. It just makes you pretty well. That's it. There's nothing more to it. And I can't help that what happened. Um, like I said, I had every intention, as I stated earlier, I had every intention of things, you know, going the way I wanted them to go. My wife, I don't know, I wasn't there. She had everything. Said she told everything, put everything out there. And like I said, I was mind my business here. I was, my wife called me on behalf of this, and I thought, well, if there wasn't no strings attached, which I come to find out there was, you know, my wife thought it was a no strings attached deal, practically, and thought she didn't have nothing, and she threw her hand out there, and like any person does sometimes. But just like any person does, they throw their hand out there, and sometimes, you know, your hand gets bit. So again, I don't know what happened between here and or between there and here, but that part's always going to be a mystery. I don't know. My wife was. I'm guessing because I don't have notes down here, but I'm gonna guess that she was probably up there 45 minutes to an hour and a half. I don't know, but it was some amount of time. And I don't know if she talked to her the whole time or what, or just a few minutes. But you know, again, it's tough because as I realized, I told my wife just now a while ago. I said, we're only going to get older. We're not going to get any younger. And she was going, well, what are we going to do about Easter? I don't know. I said, you just have what you got here. You know, I know, like I said, I want it, and my wife wants this, and everything. I'm chewing on some gum. But anyway, um, my wife and I, want this stuff, and you know, and and I I was just trying to pick something, but I don't know what to tell her. I mean, I can let her speak for herself and tell everybody here what she hopes for, what she would like, and if she wants to say her piece about what happened up there that night. Because, like I said, I know bits and pieces and little bits here and there, but I wasn't actually physically up there, so I don't know what brought it on exactly. I know sort of things. But she did. She showed out down here. That's all I can speak to. I didn't know there was girlfriends and friends and kids and ex-husbands and all that other crap. I thought this was a no strings attached. I thought I could go up and give them a hug, make them feel good. I thought that's what she was hinting at, and I thought that's what my wife thought she was. I think I don't know, but all I know is just what I saw down here, and it wasn't. It did not impress me one bit. I mean, like I said, she had the looks, she had the stuff on the outside. I could tell when I first talked to her, her teeth were kind of missing, and some things she didn't take very good care of her teeth. She, she didn't hear something like a bee or something. But I don't know if it's over here in this window or what, but I hear something over in this window.
I'll get it in a minute.
Okay. But anyway, I don't know what to really say because I didn't have much. I gave my wife the okay because I like I said, I kind of thought, well, maybe it's something good in this. Maybe it might just be something that we might have upped on, and maybe there's something are meant to be. But I did not foresee that there's going to be all this drama and baggage upon my inspection of a person. Now I can only do what I can do for so many people, and like I said, it's one of those kind of deals. Yeah, I think it's over here. I think it's over here in this one. I hear something there once in a while. Trying to get a bee. But no, my wife and I, we try, and it's all we can do. And if somebody here's another story from the other person, well, I wouldn't expect anything less. She wasn't the friendliest of people. I'm not going to knock that she didn't do anything, but the littlest of things, which is a couple of dinners and cook. She's a pretty good cook. Like I give her that. We had some lasagna or whatever it was once or twice, but I said you take, like I pointed out earlier, you take the kids out of the situation. I might have been able to get in there, but there was kids, there was ex-husband, and there was all this other stuff. I don't think my wife knew how all that was that bunched up. I don't know. Well, as well, okay. So let me backtrack this here for a minute. Okay, so she's now okay. So I need to make this clear. So all right, we've got it. Me and my wife has been married almost 11 years. This person don't know. What I don't know is how long all this stuff's been going on and all that baggage I've been speaking of. But what I can say, I don't know how another married man's going to take care of another woman who's got all that baggage on her plate. I can take care. I can say this for myself. I can take care of kids that want to be took care of. I can take care. I could have took care of her if she wanted to be took care of. But what I can't do. Oh, what I can't do is have them coming up in here and saying, "Oh, let me do this. Let me do it." You are already doing it. Simple. I know that much. And that I remember the stuff like I mentioned to earlier. Go ahead and throw it away. It's all right. Go ahead and throw it away. As I mentioned to earlier, I didn't know she sew up her friends' heinies. I didn't know what was going on with all that. I know what they are. They won't admit to me. Oh, here she is. But I know what they was, and from where I was sitting, and my wife will attest to this. We did not tell her to tell tell her to tell her friends about us. She did that on her own. As a matter of fact, she did not have her own phone. To my knowledge, she used Courtney's or one of them's, I think.
Yeah, just for a minute.
But
she had her own phone, but Melanie had it.
Oh, well, like I said, she had a lot of these people she had met, and prior to me and my wife, and I don't know, I didn't go on my wife's Facebook. I don't know what she knew, what she didn't. I know that there was some stuff done because my wife wouldn't bring her down here. I know some things were said, and some things, like I said, could have been forgotten about in so many ways. But I know what I hope for, and I know what I'd hope for me and my wife both. But I know for me, I can't be on one end, and my wife can't be on another, trying to referee between these kinds of things. I want somebody that we can do something with, somebody that does have something in common with us. I know I could speak from that end. I didn't feel like I had anything in common with her. I mean, I know from what I saw, and only from the couple of weeks, she's here for probably 2.5 weeks or so. Pushing it might be 3. But, she did want to watch. What? Oh, okay. Oh, here, just. Oh, it's all right.
No, where you go?
Okay. Oops. It's all right. Okay. Now. But no, from what I could see, she liked movies. She could sit there all day and probably watch 100 movies. That I can tell.
There ain't nothing fucking doing to care.
Well, let me. I'm trying to say what I thought and kind of go through it a little bit, and like I said, she almost looked like she looked like one of them wrestlers off TV, kind of guy that build. She's tall. I'm not going to say height had anything to do with it, but a 30-year-old coming in here and trying to boss somebody around and tell them that they're going to have to let me see these people and let me do this. You already had that happen. You should. The thing that I knock on her the most is her not having the job or the financial stuff she should have had as her own self, being a mother. There's no fault for that. No excuses. She should have took care of them. I wasn't there when she went to all these things. She could have had things. From what I know, what little she said to me that made sense, she was dumb enough to give her cars and stuff away to these people that she thought she knew.
It was her ex-husband's car.
So she let
give it back.
So she let people, and that's just what I remember. She let people take advantage of her. Now, this might explain why she was trying to boss me around, because there was some things said, like I said, something about her woman. I don't care what she goes and sees. It wasn't my business to start with. I never knew she was a former crack whore and went out there and slutting around.
She was
with everybody.
Whore.
She was.
Honey, that's why we're not getting nobody.
She told me these stories about.
She was joking.
No. See, this is what my wife don't understand. I want to come out here and make a video. She's not letting me get everything out. This woman, 30 years old, told me she was a former crack whore. She done drugs. Her brother done drugs. That's no lie. What was a lie to me, an insult to me, was this woman was supposed to be my second wife. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I've got so many things that I can do. but I can't do but so much. I don't know. All I know is I never put my friends on nobody. I never pushed my friends like this crack whore did up here with me. She did all this and more. Like I said earlier, my wife got a little more out of it than I did because she, as long as it fit her narrative, and as long as somebody went through the same things as she did. Well, here's a couple things I can tell you that my wife didn't do, crack horse. She didn't do drugs. Okay, so she didn't match you there. And I'm going to tell you something else. Yeah, she may have drunk a beer, but at least my wife can actually say that she made herself stop drinking. She didn't need to go into a AAA meetings or whatever you call that stuff. She didn't need to go to these places. She didn't need no one's guidance. She's told me this herself. She's upset because it ain't worked out. It didn't work out, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that she played my wife and that my wife thought she had everything put together. I don't know. I don't know any people, and I'm sorry if I upset anyone. But I can tell you I never had one problem with that one's dad, that one's mother. They had a movie or two on TV, but we could talk. The whole time when she was over there getting all her stuff, I took this I remember this just like yesterday. Her dad mentioned in my presence, I was in the house. My wife was back there with her. But her dad was helping her get some of the stuff. He said, are you sure that you want to do this? And I said, and she said, yes. She said, yeah, she gave him, and she said, he said, all right. Well, that was about the fourth day. So right on the fifth day, kids is coming around, and the only people that those kids knew was her mom and dad, which they were up in their years. They were in their 70s or thereabouts. Anyway, she mentions, well, I don't know what I'm going to do if. Oh, there it is, right there. I think that's him right there. He's down on the ground. There's something moving there. That over here. I see him now. Over here.
Where?
Right there by you shoot. Right there. See it? I don't know what that is.
It's a piece of paper.
Oh, I thought that.
God dang.
I thought that might have been it. But anyway, I understand, like I said, why it's gotten my wife the way it does. Like I said, I had hoped for the best. But as I was saying, the parents wasn't no problem. Even the brother came up and shook my hand, and she let him know that I wasn't into the drugs and the whole 9 yards, and I wasn't into smoking and all that. And he was cool with it. He didn't, act any differently about it. He said hi or hello, and I just sitting there rolling with her and her parents, or her parents for the longest time that she got all this stuff. She brought all this crap over here. There was enough junk brought over here. It's like, and this was before I knew that, our landlord didn't want anything over here, couldn't do anything. Beside the point, had things went my way and hadn't have been all these kids and all this other crap in the way, and had my wife had gotten her way with the whole deal. Like I said, we don't have a lot. And that's the first time, and actually one of the first times I'd heard somebody come out and actually say, well, I'm not going to use your money. I'm not going to come in here and do that. Yeah, she made sure she didn't do that. She kept her word there. But like I said, there was times where it just made me wonder. And I can understand, people meet. My wife could have held a gun to my head if she wanted to and chose her friends over me. She didn't do that. She tried them out. She said, "Hey, I'm married now," and I kind of went through a similar thing with her friends in Ohio, and she thought they would be happy. She got married and she had moved on, and she didn't want to get reconnected with some of that. And like I said, that didn't turn out well. I've never been a saint. I've never been one of these kind of people to toot my horn about anything. But I gave a person a second chance, which I don't normally do, because they asked for it, and not on my behalf. But after she pitched a fit, throwed some stuff in here, even tore some of my wife's stuff up, pitching a damn fit over nothing, because she won't sit down here and listen. Like I said, my wife, it's a whole different story, you know. But when it's someone else, and like I said, it's going to be getting to where I'm going to have me a contract made up, some kind of thing on paper, and I had to make sure that everything that's put on paper is agreed to beforehand. And if they try to jerk me around, I'll take them to court. I'll say, hey, I got this person that said they agreed this and that or whatever has to be done. I'll have proof of it. Even if I don't go to court with it, I'll show whoever I have to show. Say, hey, this person's not what doctor ordered. I hope that don't happen. But I'm saying, because it happens so easy up here, and things that look good. Like I said, a feller's eyes and anybody's eyes, the outside can get you. Even the ugliest person could be the worst person in the world. They don't have to, it could go either way. But no, I thought, I thought, well, if she walked down here and she didn't have a place to go, see, she told my wife she's homeless, which that's sort of true, but it's not exactly the truth. It's sort of in between. She was living with her parents at the time for the most of that time. I think she'd only left them up to that point when she just happened to run into my wife, which like I said, but she wasn't totally homeless. She had a job before, but she lost it or left it or whatever it was. And they got on her nerves, like a lot of the people that I've tried to work under get on my nerves. So I ended up having to usually quit, or I get laid off or whatever sometimes too. So again, I can relate there. But to my knowledge, it was always, monkey see, monkey do with this kind of person. Mm-hmm. She, I tried to give out my best advice as I saw fit. She was having an open discussion in here, and I don't take drugs. I don't know what they are. I don't even know how to make them. I don't want to. I don't want to know anything about it. But she got into the wrong crowds, and when she got into the wrong crowds, like I said, people that gets into the wrong crowds on purpose will not fit a person who's straight edge and who does things right and who abides by the laws. Now, like I said, I'm not saying this person was a murderer or this person was a terrible person, like the worst I've ever seen. But as far as, trying to go by what was said and what was going on was like two different things, So, my wife, she got a different version of her. I didn't get that same version, and I apologize, like I say, for not being able to see that same version of that person. What was up there, I have no idea. The person that my wife went up there to see just happened to have this extra person in there, and she was nodding off, sleeping, whatever, at the time, and I think my wife in there woke her up or whatever had happened, and so, like I said, we've been about a little over a year removed from it, and like I said, I enjoyed going. We went to Big Lots. I know. She got her food stamps, I believe it was like on the 8th, and I didn't even know it. When I went in there, I recall it's like it was yesterday. I went in there and I told my wife, I said, I don't know how much to get, or because it wasn't my food stamps. It wasn't my food stamps. And I told my wife, I said, well, I don't know what to do because if I get too much stuff, I mean, truthfully, she had a lot because she had the kids. The kids bring in a lot of food stamps, and she had upwards to about $800, I believe it was, or somewhere in that neighborhood at the time. And half of that was going to her parents because she owed them some money. So right here tells you she settled with them on giving about half of her food stamps to them and letting them have food because she had no way to pay them back. I don't know what all that detailed or what, but she owed them some money for stuff they had done for her. And they're nice parents. Like I said, I can't say enough about them. In the short time I known them, they never give me any hassle. And even her dad over the phone and in person apologized to me. And I apologized to him too. I said, well, I don't know. I'm sorry it went down the way it went down too, because they're old. It's one thing. I'm about probably half their age, or a little less than half their age. But I mean, I'm a lot younger than they are, and they certainly didn't need, her stress. I remember when I was talking to him in person and on the phone. I told him, I said, I hope that she, gets over this stuff that's happened to her in the past, and that she did. And I explained to him just like I am on this video. I told him, I said, that maybe the next time she won't feel the need to have somebody sit there and look at her all day. That's all I got out of it, basically. And she tried to sit up in here and also say, oh yeah, when I feel like it, and when I guess she just thought she's going to live here month to month. I don't know. But truth of it is couldn't. And yeah, she'd worked out, and I wrote a letter one time because there was a movie I didn't care for. So me and my wife wrote. It's kind of like a love letter, kind of like a thing, or whatever you want to call it. And and most of it, my wife wrote her a nice one. I wrote her a nice one. And part of it, my wife and I had mentioned about, one day maybe wanting to do, have a child with her or something. And then she's like, and she set me down. And this was funny. She set me down and said, yeah, I was open to it. And I like to, it's called, what you call it? That's I love what you call it. I can't think the mother thing. I can't think of the name of the mother that there would be. What you call it? Anyway, there's a name for it. It slipped my mind right now. But she was
mother.
But they call it something. No, it's another name. Anyway, it slipped my mind right now.
Mother-in-law.
No, it's what they call it when another guy that's married, has a kid with someone else. I can't think what you call it.
Daughter.
But it's a certain type of mother, different type of mother. But she agreed to it. Let's just say that she was fine. She's on board. And I thought we had everything. Surrogate mother, I guess. She was on board. It's like I said, it's strangely enough. I thought we were on good terms, and I thought everything's gonna be fine. And then, as that got going, and she kept bringing up, like I said in the earlier video, she mentioned about some things, and I kind of, like I said, I kind of look at this as like one of these damn TV talk show kind of deals where there's a lot of these on here fussing and arguing about stuff. And she kind of threw some other red flags up, like she said at one point in her life she'd been raped and all this other stuff and yada, yada, yada. And she's going into all the details. about, all this stuff. And I was trying, like I said, I was trying to make her feel good about, that I understood, even though I haven't been in those shoes. Now, I actually, I had been touched a couple of times, but not in the way a woman would, probably be. But I've been in those a little bit. But no, I tried to give good advice where I thought it was needed, and she just kind of bucked on me like a horse knocking you off, or one of them bulls on TV, and they have the rodeo. Yeah, she just wanted to go her way, and I said I can't, in good conscience, let her step on my toes and my wife's toes. And because I had my wife and what made me determined to have the person leave, Susan, that is, I I had come to a point to where, and at the end of the day, she wanted to go out there, and this is, I guess, the guy that raped her. I guess, and I don't know, but yeah, this what was I remember told to me. She said that the guy that she was texting and she wanted to be friends with because she had a kid with him. And I'm gonna explain why I don't think it should be the case, just in case somebody just seen this video and hasn't seen me before. But my dad and my mother, right, had me and had Darren. My mom can blame herself for a little bit of this, but she was also trying to be a good mother. I get it. But when I got up there to my grandparents, this is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I was lucky to have a good dad. So I had a place I could go on the weekends. My mom at the time said there were some people that she knew was on some stuff and on some drugs, her side of the family. So she said to me, that that's why I can remember sitting in the car and just, one night after they came out of there, which seemed like 4 or 5 hours at least, when my mom would go shopping and my dad, it was, we used to sit in the cars as kids. But, it's just my mom at the time made the choice that me and my brother go up to see Granny and Doc. And so I went up to my grandmother's and he went to Doc's, which would be my great grandmother and his great grandmother. But my mom had held this against me for a while about me not wanting to move back down there. Well, I'd stayed up there, and this is my own mother. Now she didn't treat me as well as you think. She didn't call. I stayed up there. It was supposed to be 2 weeks, and my brother stayed up here for a good while. And then one day she just out of the blue calls Dot's phone and tells Darren and sweet talks him into basically going down to a camping trip, and she opts to not bring him back. Well, there ain't much you can do when that's the mother. If the mother wants to keep the child down there, I don't see why she couldn't, because she was providing clothes. She was doing the things, unlike the crack whore. She was doing things that a mom should do. She had clothes for him. She had food for him. She had, even though she didn't work, she had a husband who worked and had stuff going. So he was one bringing in money. My mom, it's not like she hasn't worked before. I mean, she had a couple times, but in recent years, she hadn't. And for the longest time, like I said, I can't remember the last time she had worked. But I mean, we've been through some things. Like I said, it's not maybe as bad as some kids, but there is no call for someone who got a nice gesture from my wife to come up in here and play this different character, this different personality, this flip of a switch. My wife has said nothing but good things to say when she talked to her up there. I don't understand. You know, my wife went up there to that apartment. She went up there on behalf of Courtney, her used to be her ex boyfriend or whatever, and I don't know what changed. I did not want this to turn out bad. It's just when she basically said the one thing that I knew. I have a good habit of going with my gut, and I knew something just wouldn't turn out right. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. And the thing that led me to say no and to make her leave. And oh yeah, I'll get to it in just a minute, but she didn't like it too well. But what it was, as like I said earlier, I kind of started telling it and didn't finish. So this guy basically raped her in the past. And basically, she didn't want him to have custody of the kids at the time. And so I reckon they had, in so many words, had agreed to let her mainly have the kids. Okay, number one, and I'll say this right off. If I was her and that guy touched me like she claims he did, and I don't know, I wasn't there. But I know something happened because the way she's acting around me. But anyway, I would not have this guy's number. I would not give him a second chance. I don't care if it said in the good Lord's Bible above to give him a chance. If he had done something like that, and these two kids are girls, they ain't boys. And no kids deserve, no matter what gender they are, but especially other girls. I wouldn't give that guy permission to do nothing. I wouldn't even be talking to him. He'd be the furthest thing from my fucking ass as possible. And because I knew a lot about this guy and what she said happened to her, no wonder I didn't like him. And no wonder I didn't want to speak to him. I one time, I was supposed to say this too. So what led me to doing this and to making this decision was because, I wasn't in control of anything. My wife wasn't in control of anything. We were basically, what I like to sum up is, we were basically a go-between. That's basically what it was. Because what she also told me when she set me down there in so many words also, there's the red flag of, well, I'm going to wait till I get this stimulus check, and then I'm going to waltz on out and get my own apartment, and you and your wife there can come see the kids anytime you want to. We'll be next door, yada, 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 talking like that. You're going to do my wife like that after she offered you basically the same offer? And here these kids are calling me Uncle Derek and Uncle Rick or whatever it was. And like I said, I had no papers, no, and nothing. Nothing and you wouldn't need it if you were being treated as such. But I didn't feel nothing. And I mean, like I said, yeah, one of the kids liked me over the other. The 8-year-old, she liked me more because she could just, I guess she's like me. She could sense there was something about Derek. I like him for some reason. I don't go up there. I don't want to show him my game or something. And like I said, she wasn't nice to my wife either. It was just like I said, one chose one over the other. The other kid didn't understand what the heck was going on, didn't know why she wasn't getting to see Daddy. So that's why there was this kind of confliction and the confusion and what was supposed to be what. My wife thought there wasn't anything attached in certain ways, or at least to the point she thought I could manage. Now, like I said, she mentioned earlier that she did know a few of these things, but I think she'd forgot at the time, and she reminded her, the person that I was talking about. So, yeah, I wouldn't have minded a bit had the guy, come and gotten his kids. He said if that's what she wanted, she should have been at the courts a long time ago, saying he was allowed to see him. But what was going on was she was saying that he could basically now see him without court papers. Because the courts had ruled for her to have custody and her parents to have some custody, some time with him. But he was supposed to be left out in the dust. Well, she was trying to do it without the court papers, which ought to be a red flag there anyway, because you need to go back to the courts. Just like she didn't have SSI, but she said, "Oh, Derek, I could be getting SSI, but." And stuff, but you know why she wasn't getting it? Because she's too lazy to call them up. You got to call them up. You got to wait on there. If you have to wait, sometimes you have to wait an hour. Sometimes you have to wait 30 minutes. But every which way this person turned, she didn't have anything. So in a way, we could have benefited from it long term. This thing was a mess to start with, and yes, I'd be willing to take, as my wife had mentioned earlier before the start of this video, I'd be willing to take someone with good kids, calm kids, respectful kids, some woman out there who had a head on her shoulders. If they don't have their own dad, I wouldn't mind me and my wife stepping in there and being a stepmom or stepdad to these kids. I see it all the time on shows, and I can understand the frustration that my wife feels. I mean, you don't get these often. You don't get people come up to you and waltz up here to the house, to the apartment complex. Like I said, we could have found us a place if her mind had been elsewhere. Had her mind been right and in the right way, we probably would have gotten a place and had her two kids and everything. She wanted to make us all about herself and what she wanted to do. She wanted me to just sit there and look at her, I guess, from afar and just whatever. And I told my wife I can watch TV and look at these women on TV if I wanted to do that. And she could too. But that's really basically where I was sitting. Now, my wife, if like I said, basically though, she wanted to go. I was gonna finish up one other thing. She basically wanted to go over to this guy's house for a couple of nights, and I raised up the question, and I still would, no matter what, because I said she could have called him, she could have texted him. She could have even went on a walk and done that. She wouldn't even had to have sat here and done all this, right? Well, instead, she does the darndest thing that has a person looking out for her, right? She wanted help. She wanted to, she's trying to get to know us, but at the same time, she wasn't trying to do what I felt was best, and I was trying to see, to really know what I was getting into or wasn't getting into or whatever. I was trying to see how far she's going to go with this. Like, how many more times is she going to have people coming up here late at night? How many more times is she going to keep coming up with excuses to leave our house and want to be somewhere else? This ain't a happy place. I'll admit it right here. This is a place me and my wife's had for almost the whole time we've been married. So no, it wasn't a happy place. Had she liked some of our music, had she liked some of my wife's stuff, had she been more coherent, had she been more reasonable and in her, and been more honest and open about what she really wanted out of this whole thing. I know what she told my wife, and I know what was said in front of me. but she played both sides, and that you can't do. You got to be honest to both. You got to come out in both. And I mean, like I said, it happens. I've seen my brother do it. You know, he'd come up to me, would tell me one thing, and then he'd tell his mom another, and then he'd tell, you know, my dad something else, or you know, and he just scared. He's a little, you know, a little at the time. But you know, but this is a grown woman. You know, she'd be now 31 years old. She had everything to gain and then some. But this is really the whole thing that led me to say what I had to tell her. And actually, I opted my wife to do it because I said, you know, I don't want to have to go out there and get into it with her. I was already upset as it was. But, you know, she, uh, you know, didn't like it none too much. My wife said she acted up, and I think even come close to getting into it with her physically, and you know, and everything. But no, she made a decision to go down at that person's house that she claimed, and she said, "Well, oh, I want to work things out now. I've changed my mind. I want to work things out now." Well, you know, that's what two disabled people get with good hearts. You know, we get stuck in these things like this. You know, and I don't know. It's like I said, I don't know what I was supposed to do for them. Hey, she had everything there that she could have punched. She could have called places. She could have got things fixed on her own, which is what her mom and dad even told her. This is another thing. They told her when she got that freaking stimulus check, the next time she got it, she best get her a car because they ain't going to live forever. Just like I know I won't live forever. My wife won't live forever. But, you know, I think somebody would understand where I come from and everything. And like I said, you know, it's frustration on both ends here that we didn't get what we thought we were getting, and she was just somebody trying to use us up a spot and space and possibly get me and my wife kicked out on the side of the road. You know, because I told my wife this, and I told Susan this before she left. I said, "You're lucky that Miss Prophet and these people didn't come up here." I said, "I'm extremely lucky because you know the kids and all that stuff and all that stuff and you know." So anyway, uh, you know, it wasn't a good fit, and I don't know as to how to answer the question. Is it going to be somebody better than that? Is there going to be somebody that could actually fit our you know, can they take our baggage as is and can they make it fit their needs and can they want that enough to where they can manage if they do have family, if they do have friends, can they do it in a way it wouldn't come off like, you know, bad, not just on our end, but you know, mostly on their end. Because, like I said, you don't never know. I mean, if it were me, I would take my time and want to know that person first before I got to know everybody else in it. Because, like I said, it's not every day that you get something like this, and so you know. Anyway, just kind of you know wanted to kind of go through everything that I could think of, you know, but I enjoyed a little bit of what I got to see, and you know, a lot of it just mine wasn't there. You know, the last time I talked to the dad and me and my wife rode home with him once or twice. He saw us down at the store then, not long ago, probably about 6 or 8 months ago or whatever it's been. And he said she was done better. So I don't know whether she is or not. And you know, but hopefully she won't do this to nobody else, and hopefully all I can hope for is that you know she keeps wherever she's staying, she needs to stay there, And and it's none of my business anymore if she's hanging around these up here in these apartments. Yeah, I don't care what she does. She needs to stay. That's her circle. That's where she needed to stay. She just needed to use her head for something besides a hat rack and get and if she just wanted to be if she just wanted to be a text buddy, if she just wanted to be somebody who just called once in a while, she should have went that route. If she just wanted that, me and my wife could have said no to that because that's not what me and my wife would want. It's not something that I could take, because our situation's different. Like I said, she didn't understand we were handicapped. She didn't understand that a whole lot. She acted like she did somewhat, but I can tell you, as somebody who's been around some people, not a lot of people, but just the red flags I was getting. If she'd understood, because like I said, if she was going to have us around long term, she'd have had to have something, a car, and something for those kids to do. Those kids were missing a car. They didn't have her. She didn't have a car for them to go to the park. They had to walk just to go up to the park. I tried even one time I can recall. We went on a walk and their moms just out here speed walking. And I'm like, my God, man, my wife's like, goodness gracious alive. And I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even walk. Couldn't even walk at her own pace. Whatever, she's used to doing that. Well, like I said, me and my wife was on two different, her mind was elsewhere and me and my wife's was on a different side. But anyway, if my wife, would like to come out here, if she wants to say something, or what, she can. Honey, you won't say anything?
If I do, someone's gonna take me over.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't take her the wrong way. She's just gonna come out and tell her side, okay? So, like I said, she just, like I explained, sometimes she's just upset like I am. That didn't work out. Here you go. Go right ahead.
I brought up my husband because he said that it was all my fault, but he's told me not to judge. It shouldn't be jumping over each other, but he jumps on me and said I did something wrong. She's the one that woke up and me and Courtney was outside, and Courtney said that she was inside asleep. And when I went to go get him some coffee, because he wanted to call me coffee, I went to go give him something. I was making him a drink. And she started talking to me. She said that she was missing some message. She was trying to get her message fell out underneath the couch, and she had me scoot the couch so we can get it. And she said she didn't have a cell phone because Melody took it away from her. She said that they poisoned her. They put something in her drink. She don't remember what was in the drink. She said the only thing she remembers drinking tea, and she said it tasted funny. And she said she told him she was gonna go lay down. She was gonna take a little short nap. And she said Nancy and Melanie drugged her. And I do believe her on that because Nancy and them have been acting weird. They yell at me every time I walk out my door now. They yell at me, and Melanie will flip me off. She'll say she'll fucking kick my ass, and she'll try to have guys come out there try to do something, and I believe her on that. But I don't want to be my husband saying, you're lying about this stuff, saying she's my Valentine. I told her everything. I told him that when I called him. He knows that. I called him and asked him if he wanted me to bring her down. And he said yes. So how is it all my fault? I was just trying to do a nice deed. I was trying to help him. He said he wanted somebody close to home. Well, fuck. She was close to home. I didn't. Yes, she had pictures of her kids on her Facebook. Yes, she came to me. I didn't go to her. She come to me. I didn't know she was with Jack. I asked him. She said something about she would text me later on Facebook. She said she didn't have time because she had to go have visitation with her kids at her mama's. Because she said she had visitation rights through the courts. And She was raped. I even asked her dad once time I saw him by myself. He said, yes, she was raped. He even admitted she was raped. She didn't lie about it. Because her dad said that the guy that she was with did rape her. She did not lie. Yes, she went to Hawaii like I did. Yes, she went through the same things I went through. I went through hell in a basket. Yes, I had a job. Yes, I didn't like it. Yes, I have friends that got me into something that I didn't want to get into, like drinking and stuff. I didn't have to have AA meetings. I didn't have to go through. Yes, I went through court stuff because of my dad. What happened? My dad hit me with the hammer. I will never go back normal. The doctor said that half my head will never go back. My husband even seen stitches in my head because he said he forgot that I told him that. When we got together. I've been through so much relationships like she has. But she tried to get out of the situation. She went to Hawaii and tried to get out. And I did the same thing because I had to push myself. I had the power to. I had the way to get out of my situations. Yes, I was on Hawaii medicine. Yes, I was in a mental hospital. But I bet she wasn't, but I was. I was lied on. I don't have family. The only person I have is my husband. That's the only thing I have. I want a bestie relationship, but you guys keep pushing me further and further away, and it hurts. If I asked for somebody at the church earlier, I told my husband I was going to go for a walk, and I want to go help I see my preacher pull up. And he said he was going to fix the tombstone that we've been working on the past 2 nights. I asked him if he needed any help because I said I don't have nothing to do. I need something to do. Keep my mind straight. He kept pushing me away. He said, I don't need your help. But he said, we're supposed to be a church. We're supposed to help each other out. That's what I'm trying to do with my bestie. I'm trying to help y'all, but you guys keep asking me for cards and money and using excuses why you can't come. You keep lying. You keep saying you don't have money. You have money. Don't fucking lie. You don't say you don't have a job. Well, you do have jobs. You're just a motherfucking bitches. And it's getting on my goddamn nerves. But here's my husband.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, again, I thought, as I stated earlier in the video, I thought that my wife knew what she got into. I don't know. As I said, I was minding my own business. Yes, like I said, I acknowledged my wife called, and I have, for the longest time, wondered, why was this something that needed to happen? What was it that made this have to happen? I mean, like I said, the person I never saw before. I never seen any portion of her, never knew of how she was brought up. I still don't. From what I can tell, from where I sit, her parents must have brought her up pretty good. But she's like a wild horse. She bucks when she wants to buck someone. I don't know how she treats. Now, when she was around her parents, she didn't talk all this crack whore mess. She didn't act up in front of them, and she didn't really bring up anything that would cause any problem. Me and my wife rode in the car with her and all that stuff, and she talked about different things and stuff. But her dad was like me, was firm in his answer. If it was yes, it was yes. If it was no, it was no. And sometimes she would say, "Well, I'll just be 5 minutes," or "I'll just do this or that or whatever." And I can recall there was something she brought up, and he said no to it. But at the end of the day, I couldn't say half of this stuff. I couldn't even see my own grandmother doing, or my mother, or maybe my dad. My dad maybe, but But I mean, this person's dad went out of the way to do everything, even the short time I was with her and rode in these people's cars. I knew that they were good people. I never yelled. I never had to scream. I never had to fuss or fight or argue with them. Man, when that woman was in here, I thought I was going to pull my hair out because she put on a front in front of other people. And yeah, if she was raped, that's one reason you don't bring another woman that's been raped in front of another man. No wonder she's acting all weird and crap around me. No wonder that I guess I was just made out to have to sit and watch. I ain't gonna sit and look at somebody far off all the time and hardly that. And another thing, hardly has anything in common, but yet she'll go and say, "Oh yeah, I'll be your surrogate mother. I'll let you do this. I'll let you do that." And then she just turns around and just next thing you know, she tears up Jack. She don't know how to handle when she misplaces something. She blame me, she blame my wife, she blame everybody and the brother just about that she could have thought of that misplaced her medicine, all these friends. That's why I said, bitch, pick your friends better. Quit hanging around these crowds and you'd have been fine. I could guarantee you if she had half of the upbringing that I had, and had she made herself apply the same things that my wife spoke of, my wife is doing so much better without all that stuff. Yeah, when she got down here, my wife had some things that happened to her, and she thought coming back down here was going to help things. That's how she met me. My wife, Jessica, the one that was just on here, came back down here, and if she hadn't came back down here from Ohio, then she would never have met me. That's why I told her my wife is different from the Susan, the crack whore, as I dubbed her. She's so much different from her. This woman could have been skinny, could have been small, could have been medium sized, could have been tall like she was. She was tall and had, long legs, and she probably weighed, like I said, she probably looked like she probably weighed about 150 or somewhere through there. And she's very tall. So, like I said, it didn't, and like I said, it didn't help that she didn't take as many pleasures in taking her showers exactly all the time either. But she would after 2 or 3 days or something. She just like I say, she's a weird cat. I never seen anybody like her. I never been around that other than my wife. I never been around anybody that was like her exactly. I had Connie that I once knew, but me and Connie was mainly over the phone and letters. One time that she came out, her mama brought her to the fair, and thanks to my papa, I got to go see her for that couple hours. That's all I have got. Sometime or another after Connie had her fight out with me over the phone and our doozy. Well, and then she decided all of a sudden she was ready to get in a relationship. So some years after and that's when I was on Facebook and we got met up, and I made sure I apologized. And we was all right with each other there for that 5 minutes. But again, I just I thought that I guess I was just supposed to be like this. I guess me and my wife is just supposed to be this person, like I said, this place where she could just come and go as she liked, and you just couldn't do that, not with our situation. Like I said, she just wasn't all on board and wasn't fully coherent with what she wanted, and she just, from what she would tell you, you could almost know the opposite was true. Are we going to luck up somehow? And like I said, yeah, at the time, yeah, my wife even looked at me and blamed me, And again, I guess I could give this person 3 or 4 or 5 chances, but why would I do that when she has all this other crap crammed up her hiney, and just kids that want to go see their own daddy, even though that's the daddy that raped her supposedly. And like I said, my wife vouched that they said that's true. So, like I said, take it for what we will. But I would not have had anything to do with that. Again, can you expect a 3-year-old to come out and understand that? Why they don't get to go see daddy? No, probably can't. So, well, in the same breath, why is her kids calling me Uncle Derek and Uncle Rick or whatever, and he called my wife whatever it was they was calling her? Because it don't make any sense. Like I said, the adult in the room was the mom in the room, and she should have known better. And if she was drugged up, if something was wrong with her, that ain't my fault. That ain't my problem. But I was trying to do what I felt was right, what I would have told any kid, what I would have told any grandparent or any person around, any young lady, let's say, and to be 30 years old and not have things like you should have them, I like I said, there's no excuse. She opened her legs up for a couple people, or 1 or 2 people, whoever. She let them do whatever they wanted with her. But my God, it seemed like I was gonna get run over by a freight train. And like I said, that thing where she was bringing up about being raped. That's why she was treating me bad, because she was holding every guy responsible. Well, maybe you ought to go out there and you. I don't know how she dressed. I can only tell you that when she did dress, I now again I don't have visuals of every time she dressed and what she dressed in, but if you're out there and you're a lady, and I say this to all ladies, if you're out there and you're even a little girl, keep yourself clothed up. Put your jeans on. Put your long t-shirt on. Don't even take any chance of showing your back. I know there's some of these girl shirts that's got their back showing out, cut out of the back of it. There's some that's got the belly showing. There's some that's got, pants and shorts that you can wear that goes straight up your crotch, you know. And there's like I said, there's bikinis, there's the whole 9 yards, thongs and panties and the whole 9 yards. Like I said, if you're out in your own backyard and you want to tan and you ain't really got nobody that can look in, and it's your own backyard and you want to do that, that's your business. When you're going out in public, or if you got next door neighbors, and you're even if you're going out and just check the mail, it's dangerous. My wife don't even go out past dark. She stays in the house. But yeah, I think we blamed each other. I think we pointed fingers at each other for a good while, and it hurts. Like I said, we had good intentions. We had good hearts. Our hearts was trying to get in the right place, trying to give this woman something we wouldn't normally give anybody. Was we going to have to move? Yeah. Was we going to have a car to get around in? Yes. We was going to have some kind of transportation, or we were going to have something to where, and from what I recall too, I'll take care of your bills. That whole talk was talked about too. I remember that same talk that I mentioned about earlier. That was another thing. Well, if you're going to go halfway, why not go the whole way? Either we're your family, either we're your newfound family, or we're not. You know, and we fit or we don't.
I was raised like
So-
that, too.
So again, as I say, I wasn't.
But I was right the same way she was.
Well, she held it against all men apparently, and because she was raped, she just did not fully put her trust in me.
But I was raped by three different men.
Well,
But I don't blame you for that.
but she blamed me. That's why she would act kind of weird. I mean, I'll give, like I said, I mentioned this in the other video. Yeah, when she'd start crying, a big river tear, you know, get back in. God dang, what was that?
That medicine thing.
Oh, well, it didn't spill out, did it?
No,
Okay,
had a top on it.
all right. But as I said, she held every guy that she looks at, and I could speak for probably most women, but I don't know why. If you're a woman who's been touched, you know, I don't know why you would then go to another one's husband and then want to come up not only to their door but move your stuff in and go that far. But then come in here and then start accusing these people up there at the apartments, start flipping out, start acting ugly and throwing things and throwing fits because I want you to leave. If you'd have came out here and act like somebody and would have been nice, we wouldn't have had to call the police that night. No, I didn't just want sex from her. She had made that the biggest deal. I just wanted to be able to be able to treat her like one of my own, but I couldn't because she wasn't that type of person. She like my wife would know. She didn't hold me, you know, in the same regard as the other people. Why couldn't this person do that? It's not like we were dealing with someone underage. It wasn't like someone else's kid. You know, this is a grown woman. She knew right from wrong. Like I said, she just some for some reason or another, she just wanted to be ass backwards. And I don't know. Like I said, had she might have came 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I don't know. But if she definitely would have come before that second child, I might would have been able to have done something. I mean, if everything was a little different, maybe there wouldn't have been so much. Just probably bad timing. And like I said, she'll look back on it one of these days and time who'll view this video or whatnot. I mean, like I said, she'll learn just like all women will. If you don't want something, and I can't help everybody, but I can say this: if I can keep my thing in my pants in school, and I don't have to go to proms, and I don't have to introduce myself to all that, and I've got jobs, and I ain't out there, having sex with everybody I come in contact with or whatever. And I think them women out here can do the same. They can wear clothes that they know is appropriate to go shopping in or wherever they're going. I don't care if it's 200 degrees, if it's 50 degrees. You still got to dress appropriate when you go out in public. If you're at a private beach, if you're at a private house, of your own house, and you've got gates up, or you got some way where everybody can't just see everything on you, because it's risky being a woman, right? I mean, I speak, for most women, they want to reveal everything. I don't know why it is, they just do. And sometimes in doing that, that makes the wrong kind of people and the wrong attraction kind of people come out after these women. So naturally, that's where it fell apart because what I was accused of, I was being basically treated like as such because she had had some bad experiences and had some stuff happen to her that was out of my hands. So um, that's why my uh, wife's little adventure here accidentally, but that's why it fell apart because I was being basically accused and bossed around in so many ways. And then now you can't blame my wife, but exactly because I don't know to what extent she knew what this person was going to do or bring up. I know that people are going to get good parents. Some of them's going to get bad ones. Some's going to get one good one, one bad one. Some may get two bad ones, and in some cases you may get a good one of each. But I just don't understand why people want to play both sides. I've not had no one out here ask me for cards, money, and all that stuff my wife was bringing up. On the internet side of things, though, it's bad. Like I said in the other video earlier, people have given my wife rides. They start all this personal talk, and then she goes into, my wife feels led to went in and told one or two of these, because they started talking personal with her. Like I said, I can remember one time that there was a woman named Hannah down there at that clinic thing, and then there was a time when I was sitting there at the pig, and then there was and that one was married, had somebody, a beautiful, black lady, and she just started opening her mouth and talking to me, like she's, and she was there ordering the pizza. We've had several things offered. I don't know if we'll ever get anything, but if you can beat what you hear in this video, and you're just somebody easy going, and you want to be loved and cared for and the whole 9 yards, okay. But I'm not going to hold it against my wife, and we shouldn't hold it against one another, because it's like I said, she must have thought there was no strings attached to it. She thought all that stuff would just go as it went, and I guess it would go as smooth as she thought it was going to go. And again, but with all that, tying somebody down, that's really a lot to ask for one person to juggle all that stuff. And being that she'd been messed with and raped or whatever she allowed to go on, and all that stuff just made me look bad. Because it makes any guy especially look bad, and I'm surprised that people like this are allowed out in the public, and stuff, but because you could be the next victim of this Susan person or any other one out there that might be like her. So we're not looking for any bad comments or any know-it-alls, but I just felt led to kind of come out and tell this whole story from beginning to end. And my wife said what she had to say, and it's just bad timing, and then just bad on the fronts of what we had, what we envisioned, and what we had in our mind just wasn't in her mind. And I don't. It's like my wife said, we don't know what changed from up there to down here. And as far as the sleeping thing for 2 days, all I was told when she woke up, actually the third day I woke up, I was like, Lord, and then that's why like You know, so I remember she's kind of act like she's going to get up all of a sudden. Well, she came in here, and as I recall, she had said the reason she was going to take a nap is she'd had the kids for a couple of days, and she wanted to catch up on her sleep. Now that doesn't take anything out that my wife just told you. It just means that, like I said, I was when she came down here, she was telling a different story, and she could have very well said all that stuff in front of my wife, and said that she had gotten doped up and or felt like she'd been drugged. I guess I would be too if I didn't get no sleep and had those fucking kids crammed up my ass. You know, that's what you get for opening your legs, bitches. You keep your mouth shut, your legs shut, and you keep the guy's thing out of your stuff, out of your private parts. Maybe you'll have some freedom. Maybe you'll have some time to do something with somebody. Maybe you won't be. That's what happens. You don't get to have fun when you do that. You know, the kids reap the rewards more than probably you do. You only reap the rewards because you know you can't leave your kids sitting around. So yeah, you have to go. You have to go to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. Because if you don't, the kids ain't gonna like you. And you don't want your kids going around saying, well, I didn't get to go here, I didn't get to go there. Telling police on you or whatever it might be. So, like I said, it's something that felt good at the time whenever they do that, and it just the issues come up, money comes up, jobs come up. Then they realize they have to, you know, because they wasn't in that position before, you know. So, and that's like I said, you know, we had my wife and I had our stuff already fixed up. Everything was going to be cool. I actually even called our payee and told her, I said, if everything works out, this person, I left her a short message. I didn't leave it alone. But I said, if this works out, you won't have to be our payee no more, and yada, yada, yada. And, you know, but I ended up having to call her back and tell her this person, you know, basically it didn't work out. And so I guess what we've learned from this video in so many ways, because my wife had come on here and said it, and I've mentioned, is we're going to have to make sure they ain't been touched, that they ain't been raped. And if they have, we need to make sure that see where their mind's at, and if they're because some people could take it differently. Like I said, my wife didn't pull it against me or hold it against me in any way. But again, you're talking about a total. It just depends on who you meet. My wife could have very well given up because of all the stuff she'd been through. And even though I hadn't been into a lot of that stuff, I knew what I was trying to get to. I knew the points I was trying to get across, but I was being told that I was only on this certain spot and this certain level, and I wasn't, up to where she was at, or I didn't earn her trust enough, or I just wasn't her type, or whatever it was. And I told her the same thing. When she bucked on my music, when she bucked on some of the things that me and my wife like, I knew it wasn't going to work either way anyway. So, we learned a lot from that. And anybody out there could be the next person that goes through something like this and, can take this and learn from it. But, yeah, the offer's still here. And at the time, my wife would give that one her ring, that I had bought her. Or one of the, it was that one. We give her that one. And at the time, it was the one I paid for at the pawn shop. Well, I got my wife a ring after that, and it's where we ended up getting. And we got a second one, which has been shown in the videos. And my wife, she's got hers on a.
What's right here? I see on the computer.
Well,
Right here.
Oh, but my wife had gotten her ring is on the necklace, and she has a hard time wearing hers. But this is what we want to go out of our way, and I put it in the other one, but I'll put that here again. But we got this. Hopeful that you know it's not been all that long, but I mean a little over a year is quite a ways to wait. It's about 2 months after we let the person go, and the whole Valentine's present BS was brought up because it was close enough to Valentine's Day, and it kind of fit. My wife really meant it for it to be a present, and I understand that and all that stuff, but you know, sometimes it's kind of like one of them sayings is damn if you do, damn if you don't. So if you left her alone, a feller say, well, if you had left her alone and there ain't no telling what she'd have been doing. Certainly, I don't think she'd have thought to come up out here and start banging on the door. I mean, we haven't really gotten anybody since we've been here the whole time. Oh, we've gotten packages, we've gotten stuff like that. Not just somebody randomly coming up out here, some young girl, or woman of any kind, just coming out here, So, again, it's just like what I would probably say was just probably a bad timing issue, and most likely just her brain being warped. I mean, if it had been anybody else out there, I would say she would have probably done the same thing. I don't know why she felt I need to know all that. I mean, I understand why somewhat, but again, you don't have to do that right away. You could wait it a little while, give us a couple of months, give us some time to get to know, see you smile, see you happy or something, And if you're really that bad and you can't suppress it, then that means that pretty well tells me that she's just going to be all clammed up, except for whoever she trusts to get around. So I can't believe, as I've stated, I can't believe she even done what she done down here. I can't believe she. But what I took from the dad, and I spoke to him on the phone and in person, and he also told me this. He said, "Well, she's pulled this before, right? So." If she's pulled it before, she's liable to pull again. But I'll tell you, I also think after she had a dose of me, I can guarantee you she better not, because the next person may not even be so nice to let you in the house. I'd like to see me and my wife have somebody the opposite of this, have somebody nice that is sincere and knows what she wants. Black, white, purple, green, whatever color she might be. And just be yourself. That would help me and my wife get along a lot easier with you. If you have a few problems with what you've been through and you just want to tell us. And let's say something, whatever we got to say, but let's move on, It's not the end of the world. We ought to be able to find somebody that's compatible on all fronts and likes the stuff we like, and in everything. So as I said, just hope for the best, and we've got all this out there now, and so everybody understands, that. We're not, like I said, we're not bad people. It's just, we're guilty of what a lot of people are. We're not, and I'll be the first to say I've tried friends. I've tried the whole thing with that. We've tried the couples thing. So anybody out here says, well, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? We've tried it. Now, just about everything you can try. It would just be easier if it was just somebody that fit this bill and knew what they wanted. Well, how are you going to do the ring thing? How are you going to do that? Well, we're going to do it in our own privacy, ceremonial way, and we're going to have where, there ain't going to have to be of course, going up to no courthouse or nothing. But if there was somebody out there, that actually knew what she wanted and was 100% not telling fibs and stories and telling one of us one thing and another the other, tell the same story twice, you know. And like my wife, I think, spoke of earlier, she felt like she's in a rush this night or something. I don't know, so that's why my wife called one of the things. And, like I told my wife, I don't know exactly she felt because I don't think even if her ex, and I don't know him very good, but I don't believe Courtney would have minded her staying overnight if she'd been. But obviously, he knew he'd had some dealings with her, and I don't think they were all that pleasant. So again, it was just pass the baton around, and he just I don't know if he even thought we would make it with her or not. But maybe he had hoped. But obviously, he wasn't in the best of shape either. He had some stuff happen to him, and he was kind of messed up after Ricky had a long time ago. So he was never quite the same. He's been passed on though for a little while now, but no, we meant well, and no matter what Melanie and a bunch of them that she mentioned earlier, we meant well. We tried it, but and I went out of my way. Like I said, I wrote letters afterwards, seeing if there was anybody else up there that was better than this, that had a car, or had some way to, a little bit more of something. It wasn't about trying to take advantage of nobody's money or whatever. We wanted this thing to last a lifetime, and and everything, and be able to feel free to go up and do the things we'd like to do, and all that, and in all areas, not just in one certain area, but in all facets. Get to know everything, and see what you're all about. But it just wasn't going to happen. With that one we spoke of on this video, is impossible. You know, and I hate that because, like I said, you don't see me jump out or my wife jump out that much to help somebody, and that's where the stinger hurts. But that's how life is. And as far as anybody coming up to them churches and stuff, and then if she tries to help them, they reject her. Well, and that's their problem. I really don't have anything to do with that either. You know, it's usually just cleaning and putting stuff away or putting stuff up, I guess, or whatever it is. But no, there's nobody at that church usually except for their own kids. And Lord, me and my wife can take these kids home. But no, to my knowledge, there's never been nobody up there really that. Yeah, like I spoke of earlier, there was a time or two where my wife said it was one of these homeless ones came out of nowhere. One of these women, called one of these people went and stopped and bought them food or whatever. They just come out of the woodworks and start coming out of that. And just because I don't know where they were at. I don't know if it was in some kind of wooded area or what, but I reckon they could see the church from a distance or something. I don't know. But, it's just like I said, if we'd have done that, nobody probably would have come finding us at all. If we'd just been on the opposite end of that, probably wouldn't have done anything with it. Knowing my luck, I don't have the best of luck with people as it is. My wife said, my wife knows, and it's been pretty rough. Mine and her families don't see as it is, don't get along. So, we got through with that about 3 years ago. So we just been doing our own thing. Cut out, like I said, cut out doing rides, cut out doing all this stuff. But if you watch, front of the radio, like I try to tell people, she's just like I said, and I'm the same way she is. I'm disappointed, I'm upset it didn't work out. So if we ever get to talking about something, she's just a little agitated, don't think nothing. She's like I am. It's just, things aren't the way we'd like for them to be. And we'd like to, see somebody that she tells me all the time, well, these other people can have all this other stuff. Why can't we have something? I say, well, and the only thing I can think of is it's probably people that they either went to school with, work with, or some extended family members, I would think. Probably something along those lines. Because I don't think you get too many of them like what we try to do out here. You just don't run up on just somebody like that. No, if it's somebody that didn't have their phone up their hiney and didn't have all this other stuff, like most of these people are doing nowadays, man, it'd be a lot easier, and man, it'd be something that would be worth our while and putting our money towards and putting our all of our love towards and care for, and it wouldn't be that bad. It would be awesome to have it. I mean, it's just unfortunately, we just didn't get haven't found it or hadn't found us yet. And like I said, we're just my wife, she'll go out and do a couple things, go for walks. She may sit her out downtown. I may be out, at a doctor appointment somewhere, Dayton or Decatur or something, Athens. But usually when I'm out, it's usually some old man, well, ain't usually anybody very talkative at them doctor's offices. You don't normally get nobody talking. So, I mean, we don't have the luxury of having, those type of places you need to meet these kind of free willed people, that'll let you come up to them, talk to them, do what you'd like to do with them. You don't have those kind of places. So, like I say, I hate it for us, but, unfortunately it was what it was. And we learned a lot though. I mean, that's one thing we can't state enough. We did learn.
That's my niece, Admiral. That was just born.
Oh,
And it's Colton's son.
Lord. Oh boy.
Ain't she cute? It's Admiral.
Anyway, let's probably get off here now. I think we've been, my goodness, been on here almost an hour and a half. So that's probably the longest video I think I've made in quite a while. So anyway, we'll see you later.
He was born today.